Hey everyone, and welcome back to today's Explainer. Today, we're taking an amazing journey through a very special devotional that asks some, well, pretty massive questions about what we value most. I mean, if you've ever found yourself wishing for just one more video game, or a cooler pair of shoes, or maybe just a slightly bigger allowance, you are in exactly the right place. Okay, let's dive into this, because what we're going to uncover today might completely change how you look at that mountain of stuff currently cluttering up your room.
So I want you to seriously think about this for a second. Would you rather have a giant mountain of the newest toys, like literally every single thing you've ever circled in a catalog or seen online, or would you rather have the whole entire universe? It sounds kind of silly, right? But the devotional we're looking at today poses this exact kind of choice. It challenges us to think about what true wealth really means and whether the things we can actually hold in our hands are, the most valuable things out there. Part 1. The Danger of Wanting More. This is a serious warning.
The devotional starts right out of the gate with a very serious warning about a trap that almost everyone, kids and adults alike, can super easily fall into if we aren't careful. And to understand this trap, we got to look at a pretty big word: covetousness. Basically, covetousness is the dangerous habit of always wanting more stuff, like toys or money, instead of focusing on what really matters. The devotional points out that this was actually a topic Christ talked about very earnestly and really frequently. It wasn't just a casual suggestion, it was a super strong warning against the inordinate love of gain, which is really just a fancy way of saying loving getting stuff way too much.
In fact, the devotional points us to a direct quote from the Bible, Luke chapter 12, verse 15. It says, "Take heed and beware of covetousness, for a man's life consisteth not in the abundance of the things which he possesseth." So what does that actually mean for us? Well, it means a person's life isn't measured by the abundance, or the giant pile, of stuff they own. Your worth absolutely isn't decided by how many gadgets you have or how massive your toy collection is.
And here is the exact problem with constantly wanting more. When your head and your hands are literally always busy planning and toiling and scheming about how to get more riches or more toys, your brain kind of runs out of room for the important things. The devotional explains that when we get stuck in this loop, two huge things happen. First, we forget about God's claims on our lives. And second, we forget about humanity. That means we just stop thinking about how we can help other people because we're way too obsessed with helping ourselves.
Part 2. Is having stuff bad? Let's talk about using means wisely.
Now, you might be wondering, if wanting more is a trap, does that mean having an allowance, or wearing cool clothes, or owning any toys is automatically an evil thing? Like, should we all just live in an empty room with absolutely nothing? Well, actually, no. The devotional uses the word means to talk about money and resources, and it says that our means are valuable and actually something to be desired. It calls our means a blessing and a precious treasure, but only if we use it wisely. It totally warns against just buying things to fit in or meet the world's standards. Instead, we really should use our means to be an influence for good.
The devotional is super practical here. It points out that mortals, yep, that's you and me, have bodies, heads, and hearts that definitely need to be provided for. I mean, we have to eat, right? We need clothes to wear and a place to sleep to hold a proper position in the world. Having things isn't bad at all as long as we use them prudently, carefully, and to ultimately become a positive influence in the world around us. It's really all about how you use what you have.
Part 3. The greatest treasure of all. Things that last forever.
So what should we really be chasing? We have to understand the major difference between temporary things and forever things. Think about earthly means for a second, like, say, a toy you absolutely loved 3 years ago. Where is it now? It might be broken, lost under a bed, or given away. Earthly things fade, but contrast that with eternal riches. The devotional specifically mentions cherishing eternal truth because truth is immortal. It promises that if we make truth a part of us, we will gain immortal glory and eternal riches. And guys, that's wealth that never, ever breaks.
To grab hold of that eternal truth, we need something called integrity. Integrity basically means perfect honesty and doing the right thing no matter what happens. The devotional states a very, very powerful rule here. If God has not given you the power to obtain means or stuff with perfect uprightness and integrity, then He never meant for you to have it. It's way better to just submit to the will of God than to cheat or lie or be selfish just to get a new toy or a little more money.
And the devotional is incredibly serious about this. It says that want and poverty are definitely evils to be dreaded, but listen to this. It insists that hunger,
nakedness, lack of a home, lack of sympathy, or even starvation are more desirable than sacrificing even one principle of truth. Think about how intense that is. It's actually better to lose all your things and even lack a home than to give up the eternal truth. That is exactly how valuable truth really is.
Part 4. Trusting the Star Maker, the Infinite Creator.
Now, that last idea can sound a little bit scary, right? The whole idea of losing things for the sake of truth? Well, let's zoom way out from our own pockets and our own bedrooms all the way to the giant cosmos above us. The devotional reminds us of one massive, super comforting fact. The infinite creator is the possessor of all things. God already owns every single atom, every single planet, and literally every single thing in the universe. And because the creator owns it all, we really don't need to stress out about hoarding our own little tiny pile of stuff down here on Earth.
I absolutely love the language the devotional uses here. It tells us to behold the glories of the firmament. The firmament is the boundless sky and space above us. It asks us to look up at the stars, describing them as gems of light, which like precious gold stud the heavens. Just picture that for a second. A totally clear, dark night sky, completely filled with billions of sparkling golden stars. Now that is the true wealth of the Creator.
And look at the infinite power of this Creator. First, He spread that glorious starry canopy above us. And if the sun, moon, and stars were swept away in an instant, the devotional says He has the power to call them all back into existence the very next moment. Imagine someone who can literally turn the sun and the moon on and off like a light switch. That's exactly who we are trusting when we choose truth over earthly toys.
Because the Creator is that powerful, the devotional promises that anything you lose or give up right now to follow Him is actually infinite gain in your future immortal life. Even if you lose wealth, honor, or toys, for God's sake, the Creator who commands the stars will perfectly reward His loyal servants. You aren't really losing anything. You are just trading up for something immortal.
So it leaves us with one massive question to think about. If the Creator holds the billions of stars in place, can't you trust Him with your greatest treasures? It brings us right back to where we started. True wealth isn't the mountain of toys that will eventually break. True wealth is found in loving God, holding on to truth, and trusting the infinite star maker with your life. Just something incredible to think about the next time you look up at the night sky. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and as always, keep asking the big questions.